Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to go over everything we've done since we moved here. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our journey here. It's been a pretty amazing year. With everything in COVID, we haven't even thought of it. It hasn't affected us at all. Because when you're on 221 acres, it really doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm going to start from the beginning. So in March of 2021, we had been looking for 2 years before that all over Vermont, farms, houses. We weren't sure really what we wanted yet, and we found this farm. It wasn't even on the market, and everything fell into place. It was amazing. The owners, the prior owners, are so nice. They're like our best friends. We used to see them every single day, but Uncle Ron, we've kind of got sick of him, so we have to see him every week now, once a week maybe. They have taught us so much, and we've learned so much about farming since we moved here. So yeah, we bought the farm in July, I believe. In July, we picked up our first bull. He is a Black Angus. He was from a breeder about 45 minutes away. It's like the straightest, cleanest bloodline. It's amazing. His name's Eddie. Eddie is pretty nice. He's a little bit aggressive, but that doesn't really affect our relationship because I still love him. So yeah, when we bought the farm in July, we got Eddie. Before we even moved in, we got Eddie actually, just to start the breeding process because we had to breed him in July so we can get calves in April. And then in August of 2021, when we moved in, we had 25 cattle. That consisted of calves, first calf heifers, second calf heifers, cows, and one bull, which is Eddie. So then, after we moved in, we ended up selling 12 of the calves because the prior owners already made a deal with the guy. So it stinks because we kind of missed a year with the beef cattle, but it's fine. We'll catch up with it. We know how to do it. I also forgot to mention that we took 2 cows to slaughter. So now we have 13 cows left. So that's just the cattle. When we moved in, we hayed 80 acres of hay fields in 1 month. It took us just about a month. We started literally the week after we moved in August, and we had no haying experience. The prior owners taught us everything. It was amazing. Haying was one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. Probably my favorite thing I've ever done in my life. I learned so much from it, and to think that we mowed 6 to 8 foot sections. I think it's a 6-foot mower. So we mowed 6-foot sections of hay on 80 acres. That's a lot of trips back and forth. So we had to mow it, ted it, rake it, maybe ted it again, maybe rake it again, depending on square or round, and then we baled it. So when we moved in, we did all second cut. So the prior owners, before we moved in, we did do haying with the prior owners. We did first cut with them, just a couple things. So they did all the first cut haying. So when we moved in, we had to do all the second cut haying. Oh geez. We moved in August. We started round baling about a week right after we moved in. So we use square bale and round bale depending on weather. It needs to be pretty hot out so it dries quicker for square bales. And then for round bales, we wrap our bales for silage, so they have to be baled at a 30 to 40% moisture content. So that's what we had to do. So when we moved in about a week after, we started baling, and throughout that whole month of August into September, I think we stopped baling a couple, or maybe like a week before October. So again, we've never done this before. So since we moved here, we baled over 114 round bales, 4x4 round bales for our cattle. I think it's 116. So over 114. That's a lot of round bales. And I pulled that lever to dump that baler over 114 times. We have about 634 hay bales up here. I don't know how I know that, but somehow I do. This is all second cut. This is one of the last things we did for haying. So we kept all the bales, and we're going to sell them in about April when the price rises about 50 cents a bale, which is awesome. Plus, I mean, second cut sells for $5 a bale in Vermont. If you go and ship down to New York, you can get like $12 a bale, which is crazy. Yeah, haying could be a really good, successful business. There's a lot of roosters outside. My brother counted this morning. I think we have 16 roosters. So we basically cut squares twice since we moved in. So this was the last batch of squares. The first batch was about the same amount. It's like 620 compared to 634. I don't know how I know that. So just for second cut, we baled over 1,200 bales. So we did not bale first cut squares, but we did with the owners a little bit. We baled a couple first cut squares, and then we left because we were just like checking out the property for the day. So we put some fertilizers on the fields, the hay fields, and the pastures this year. This fall I put black gypsum, which is, it's supposed to like basically like allow the soil to accept nitrogen or something, like the manure. So it helps like the microbes and stuff. And then that's just one. And then we have, actually no, that's it. And then we have a clover mix. So the clover mix is like 3 different kinds of clover for the fields and pasture. So yeah, I'm excited for next year to see the results. Maybe we'll get more second cut squares, and maybe we'll get more first cut squares. And then there's light in here. There was never light in here. When we bought the farm, there was Romex run everywhere in this barn. It was like terrifying. One of the huge things to do, which took a very long time, was it was off and on too, so that's what took long. We ended up rewiring the whole barn, all EMT conduits upstairs with compression fittings, keep dust out, cast boxes and switches, outlets. We have a timer for the outside lights. We ran all UF for that into these little recessed lights. So that was really fun. That was a big project. I worked for an electrician for 2 to 3 months in Massachusetts, which was, I learned a lot from him, but I mean, I didn't learn everything. So of course we had a professional come over and check, say I did a great job. I'm okay with that. So of course above me we have 2 vapor tight lights. They're 4-foot LED lights, pretty cool. And then we got all the lights on the outside. I think there's 5 on each side. It's amazing because at nighttime, it looks like the barn's on fire. It's awesome. It lights up my mom's flags outside, and then it lights up just the side by the house. It's really, really nice for nighttime when it's pitch black up here. There's no light pollution. And this is just upstairs. So downstairs we did a lot of outlets on the walls. We have all vapor tight lights up here. So when you buy a 221 acre farm, you need some equipment. We ended up investing in 2 new machines for the farm. One, which is a Bobcat E42 R2 excavator. This thing has been amazing. If we did not get this excavator, we wouldn't have dug the swale. We wouldn't have dug all our drainage trenches. We wouldn't have redone the road. And we wouldn't have been able to dig up all the rocks from this 50-acre hayfield. And we still have the other 30-acre one to do. This 50-acre hayfield, we dug up rocks and it took so long. We put like 70 hours on the excavator doing it. and some on the skid steer. We used the dump truck a lot, so without this buddy, we could have not done that this year. We also dug the new electrical lines, so we ran conduit from our chicken coop to our barn. Then we ran another conduit, which is about like 30 feet to the cow barn. Also with the excavator, which I'll show you in a second, we pounded a ton of posts in. So one thing on the property is that we have a 5-strand electric fence running on the whole property, or running around the whole entire, like all the fields. So the hay fields, pasture, and yeah, hay fields, pasture. There's miles of the stuff, so we gotta maintain it. There's floaters, there's solid posts, and then there's like the little stakes. So the second thing we got when we bought the farm was this chipper. It's a Bandit 200 UC. It's pretty awesome. It does up to 12-inch, and I mean, with 110 acres of woods, you can make your own animal bedding pretty easy. We chipped for so long the other day. After I cut down a bunch of trees for our firewood next year, we chipped all the tops of them. The third piece of equipment we got for the farm is a Bobcat T62 skid steer. This is probably the best thing we ever got because we use it every morning to clean the cow barn, and we use it for so many projects to move dirt and wood chips and all brush. The other day we finished our log yard. This was huge because this is where all the logs are going to be stored for the wood miser. We'll have the wood miser right over there, and then the log deck, and then the logs. Easy access. It's pretty big. It's like 150 by 40 feet, I would say. Everything's covered in snow right now. You can't really see it that well. We spent so long getting the roads ready because this wasn't even a road. It was a mud pit in fall. Mud season in Vermont is like spring. It's like April, May when the snow melts. Well, fall is also mud season. It's when the ground freezes and thaws and freezes and thaws. It just makes a mess. So this was a mud pit. We got so much stone delivered. We used the excavator and we used the skid steer. We graded it with the excavator. We ran the electric fence cable. So we hit that when we were digging the road. And the road goes way down to the farmhouse. So that was a big project. That took us a couple weeks. And when we were doing the road, the apple trees were also ready. So the apple trees, we harvested 18 crates of apples from half of a tree. So together, we think we got I think it was 21 bushels of apples. And we didn't even harvest all the apples because we did not have any time. We actually did not have any time. We wanted all the apples, but we never had time to do it. So we harvested 21 bushels, which is a lot of apples. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about, which I'm excited about, is next year. What are we gonna do? What's the plan? I thought it'd be cool to do the shot because the gates are open. So it's like opportunity. No, never mind. That's stupid. Yeah, there's just so much possibility. All right, let me try to say this as fast as I can. Okay, so when we bought the farm, the previous owners were doing rotational grazing with the cattle. We have 25 acres of pasture. There's way too much space for the cows, and there's only 2 pastures. So they're each 12.5 acres average. One's probably a little bigger than the other, but still, that's way too much land for open grazing or rotational grazing. The land turns into crop, starts growing trees, brush. It's not good. So after all my research, I've been researching different types of grazing for the last month or so. I've came across mob grazing or high density grazing. So we're gonna be trying that out next year. It's pretty interesting. It's not strip grazing. It's in strips, but strip grazing is you basically have a front fence. Cattle keep moving forward into the new feed. But you don't have any back fence. So the strip grazing, you can just go back. They can eat over what they've already had, which is not what we want. So for mob grazing or high density, you have them in a front fence and a back fence. They can only go forward, they can't go back, but they stay in that strip. And then we'll have a runway, basically like a chute off to the side that they can get the tree line, the shade in the morning and afternoon, and then they can get their water. We are also building a 120 by 50 foot steel structure from General Steel. We put the deposit on last week, so it's official. We're building it. The thing is 120 by 50. It's huge. So in that building, we are going to store all of our equipment except the hay wagons because they don't need to be in cover. But like the manure spreader, the mower, balers, the square balers, the round baler, the rake, teders, the other rake, and then we have the tractors to store in there. We have the 2940 to put in there, 2040 to put in there, and then we have the 2555 to put in there. So the reason we're building the building is because we have so much equipment, so much money invested into our machines that came with the farm. I mean, we bought them as used pieces of equipment. They're not going to last forever, but we want to extend the life period. Just care for them properly, because it's not good seeing them outside, especially the tractors. And I mean, yeah. So we're planning on building the building in April or May. Part of that building is we're going to have a room for freezers for all the beef, because we're getting out to 50 head, we think. It's a slow process to get there, but once we get there, we're going to need a lot of space for freezers. So again, we're planning for the future. Plenty of freezer space and refrigerator space for eggs or vegetables, whatever. Oh yeah, okay. The big thing next year is we have a 96 by 30 foot hoop house going up. So hoop house is like a greenhouse. It's for vegetables. You can grow a lot of vegetables in them, and it extends the growing period. You can start sooner, you can go later into the season. So we're going to do that in the spring. We'll put the poly on in the fall. I guess this is probably more important than hoop house, but next year we are building a house across the street. So the property came with a farmhouse. It's 1,700 square feet, which is fine, but some people in my family don't like sharing a bathroom, and it's pretty small. I enjoy it. I don't mind it. It's kind of fun because you just like, I don't know, you respect each other a little more. But my parents, since we were going to live here forever, I guess, we're going to build a house across the street. Yeah, and then they're starting the driveway next week for that. So this guy that owns a property, bordering our hayfield down there, he contacted my mom, and he's like, hey, I'm thinking about selling my property. What? So our property is part of the land trust, so we can't just like do whatever we want on it. But he wants to put his property on the land trust, so the land trust could like add that property to our property. It's 57 acres, I think. Half of it's amazing hayfield, totally organic, everything. I mean, never put a pesticide on it. And he's lived there his whole life. His family has hated that farm forever, and like they had dairy cows there. It's pretty cool. So part of that property is half of it is pasture, but we're not going to pasture any animals over there, at least for now. So it's 25 acres. So we're going to have half of it apple orchard and half of it Christmas trees. I'm trying to kind of like document our journey on this channel, Vermonters. Then we have our funny channel, Almost Italian. So you can check that out if you want. It's just like a lot of fun stuff we do around here when we have the time, which we don't really have a lot of time to do that. But yeah, next week we're going out to Ironwood Acres timber harvest, which is awesome. I'm so excited for that. Actually, by the time I upload this video, it'll probably be the day after I upload it. So I'm really excited to meet them. They have an awesome log yard, awesome set. Like everything they're doing is like what I'm totally interested in. So we're gonna go check that out, see how they do it. They have an LT40. It's gas. It's not wide. It's super hydraulic though, so it's kind of close to ours. We ordered a LT40 HDS WD, so it's a Y, it's a diesel, and it's super hydraulic. Just because everything on the farm is diesel, it makes sense to get a diesel. And diesel engines, freaking awesome. We love them. They last so long, and they're expensive to replace or rebuild, but they last a lot longer than gas, and they run more efficiently. I hope you guys have a good new year, and I'll see you guys in probably 2 weeks. And yeah, good night, America. Or it could be morning for you, I don't know.